Welcome everyone to our newest Ideal Cloud webinar, Upgrade to Ideal Cloud, a dealer's perspective of cloud technology. We would like to thank every one of you for attending today, but before we get started, I just want to go over a few things with you. We hope that we answer all of your questions and address any concerns that you may have about Ideal Cloud, but we do ask that you enter all questions into the question drop-down window on the right-hand side. And all of the questions, they'll be answered at the conclusion of this presentation. This webinar will be recorded and it will be available for you to reference in the future as well. Oh, and there will be a survey at the end. So if you could please, sorry, excuse that. So if you could please complete that for us, we would greatly appreciate it. We love to hear any feedback that you can give us. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Taylor McMillan, and I am an account manager here, and I've been with Constellation for the past 3 years. And currently, I manage the Western region for Ideal Dealers. We also have Jay Gaskins here as well, and he is an account manager for the Northeast region, and he will be presenting the dealer perspective portion of this webinar today, as well as the ROI or the return on investment for Ideal Cloud. Today's agenda will include the benefits of Ideal Cloud, the risks of ransomware, Ideal Cloud from a dealer's perspective, the return on investment, and at the end, we will go over the newest cloud promotion that we're running as a webinar special. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So there are many benefits to upgrading to the cloud from an on-premise server, but there are a few that I would like to highlight for you today. Eliminate local installations by removing the need to install Ideal or keep your data locally, which cuts the high cost of hardware for you. You can work from anywhere, and by having access to Ideal from anywhere with an internet connection, and that way you can just untie yourself from just one specific location. You can save time by eliminating the time spent on regular backups and hardware maintenance, so you can be more productive in other areas of your business. Upgrade to Ideal Cloud, or upgrading to Ideal Cloud will also increase your data security, and it will protect your data within a highly secure environment. Lower your costs on third-party fees, hardware maintenance, and any electrical power and costly server replacements. Also, it strengthens your disaster recovery. So we will quickly recover your business data in the event of a disaster by accessing it online almost immediately, which is included and done at absolutely no extra cost to you. All right, so the risks of ransomware. So if you are fortunate enough to not have been hit with hackers or ransomware, and you don't really know what that is or how it can affect you or your business, it's a type of malware that threatens to publish the victim's data or permanently block access to it unless a ransom is paid. And studies show that approximately 37% of global organizations said that they were a victim of some form of ransomware attack in just the last year alone. So this can be pretty detrimental to your business, and it's extremely difficult to recover from. The risks of ransomware are financial and data loss, and reputational damage could also occur. So upgrading with Ideal Cloud, you can find peace in knowing that your data is secure on the absolute highest level. And before I hand the mic off to Jay, we would like you to hear this frantic voicemail from one of our customers who actually had an attack recently. So I want you to brace yourselves because it's pretty painful to hear.
I need to talk to someone immediately. I've been hacked. My computer is down. I had to change all my accounts. It is currently at a place being cleaned. He said that it is a major job. Even if he did get it to the point where we could bring it back, we would have to contact you and have you load everything you did when it was new. So we have no computers, no lookups, no nothing at this point in time. So I need a price for a new computer that would be my server, what it would cost, and then to hook that to my other two workstations. Please call ASAP.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm actually the one that took this call. And before I introduce myself, I just want to ask you a question. What did you hear in her voice as she was talking? Did you hear panic, fear, doubt, anger, frustration, concern, maybe? I can tell you every one of those emotions were present that day, and it was a heartbreaking phone call and conversation. But I'm so proud of our team because we got her up and running on the cloud relatively quickly in an emergency situation. That said, I can tell you from personal experience and from talking with her and other clients that there's one resounding, should I say, emotion that you feel. You feel violated. You feel just as someone broke into your dealership and stole a mower or a boat or a jet ski or whatever it is that you sell. And it's a horrible feeling, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. As an introduction, my name is Jay Gaskins, and not only my account manager here at Ideal for the Northeast, but I've also been a dealer for 35 years. Literally grew up in the industry. And one reason I recognize and understand what this customer was going through is because in 2009, my company suffered from a malware ransomware attack. And for us, it actually cost us $50,000 in hardware. We lost 1 week of revenue over 6 locations, and we estimated about $100,000 in gross sales were lost. Also, just imagine you're used to using your system, you're used to looking up things, punching in invoices, getting customers in and out, and now all of a sudden you're back in the archaic ages of pen and paper and doing manual invoices. We had no lookups whatsoever. We couldn't look at costs. We had a paper book with some old list prices that we went with. Some of our merchandise was already marked, which was helpful. But it was an absolute miserable experience to endure. And like I said, I wouldn't wish it on anyone at all. Now, that said, if you're ever hacked or ransomware, would it cost your business $50,000 in hardware? Would it cost you a loss of $100,000? Maybe it would. Maybe it'd be a larger number. Maybe it'd be a much smaller number. Either way, it doesn't negate the fact that it happened. It happens every day, and it will happen again. Let's face it, cyber attacks today are big business, and in this day and age, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And what really stinks is, as a business owner or manager, you work your can off to build a business, to build up a name, to build up a reputation, and then you think, I remember being a young entrepreneur thinking, if I could just get to this level, if I could just get to this number of gross sales or this many units, I would arrive. But if you ever achieve that success, you quickly ascertain that now I've got to work my can off. I've got to maintain that status. I've got to keep that business going. I've got to now protect that business, because once you experience a little bit of success, everybody, especially the cyber terrorists, are looking to get a piece of the pie. Now, my experience in the industry as a manager, as an owner, has taught me a couple things. Many people are familiar with return on investment, or ROI, but I also think it's very imperative that you look at total cost of ownership. For example, if you ever signed up for that free cell phone, that one that said there's no contracts at all, totally free, and then 6 months down the road, or 8 months or a year down the road, you decide the service isn't that good, you want to switch back or switch to something else, and then they say, oh, you got to pay the rest of your bill. So the total cost of ownership certainly wasn't a free phone. Or my favorite and my wife's least favorite would be a personal investment like a boat. You know, you buy that boat and you say, okay, the price of the boat is X. We get that boat, we'll be good shape. But then you quickly realize, hey, we got to put fuel in this thing every weekend. We got to buy that special tube that the kids want to, you know, slide behind the boat. And then you got to get the special rope so it doesn't tangle up in your prop. And then heaven forbid you're trucking along having a good time and you hit something and there's damage to the prop. So no, the total cost of ownership of a boat is not that initial purchase. It's much larger than that. Similarly, when you look at a server, especially an on-premise server like many of you have, I assume, since you're on this call today, there's more to the picture. So if you look at hard costs, those costs are the easy costs. The average server is about $7,000. And they recommend that you upgrade or enhance or replace them every 3 to 5 years. Additionally, there are ancillary costs that come with that service, such as backup. You also have electricity costs, and I can tell you, I pulled this average off of a site that measures, a computer site that measures this, and the average server is $732 per year. I can tell you at our business, we had 4 servers in this little tiny room, and it was so hot in there, it was just about humanly unbearable to walk into the room. So we actually had to install a mini split air conditioner in that room just to keep the servers at the correct operating temperature. And I can tell you, they cost a lot more than $732 per year for those servers. Also, when you buy a server, there are a lot more to just purchasing the server. Again, we're looking at total cost of ownership. So when you buy a server, you typically want to get an APC battery and backup. You add that cost in. Then Microsoft, you got to pay server licenses, Microsoft user licenses. Then there's Microsoft SQL licenses. All are required to run that computer as a server. Then somebody's got to set that server up. You got to pay someone professionally to set that server up so that it operates and works properly. Then you add in maintenance and upgrades that come all along the way. All said and done, and the way I came up with this number on the screen, the $4,049, I took the 7,000, I divided it by 5, so it'd be a nice conservative number. Let's say every server is going to last 5 years. And then along with that, I divided the 6710 by 5, and you come up with $4,049 a year is what a server costs on average, or $337 a month. Pretty simple math when it comes to hard costs. Now, what's harder to compute is downtime costs, because really only you, your dealership, your situation knows what being down costs you, because every dealership is different, profits are different, so, overhead is different, so on and so forth. So let's look at downtime costs. And I took a stab at this, and the way I came up with these numbers, we pulled the last 12 months of sales history amongst the ideal family, almost 3,300 dealers. And we have different categories. We have outdoor power equipment, we have RV, we have marine, we have trailers, we have camper dealers, all kinds of dealers. And I actually took the OPE with tractor implements number. It was one of the smallest numbers that we had. So average dealer across our territory, $2.2 million a year in gross sales. Average whole good profit, 19%. And I just want to stop right there, because I know what I would think if I saw that number. I was in a very competitive market, and our whole good margins was a lot lower than that. But keep in mind, this number includes accessories, any kind of add-ons, implements, much higher margin items. And again, this is an average. You know, think about some handheld items you make 25% on. So it's a blended average across all of our dealers. Parts margins at 39%. And we're going to start with that as a baseline. And if we take those numbers and we look at that $2.2 million, most of our dealers, and when we look at percentages, about 65% of their whole good, of their sales are whole goods. If you'll click to the next screen, Taylor. So about 65% is simple math. We'll multiply that by the 2.2. It gives us a little bit over 1.4, and then you multiply it by 19% margin. That's a little bit over $271,000 in profit. Then if you look at part sales, and we multiply the part sales, which is the average in most dealerships, about 29% of their whole business, and multiply by 2.2, look at 638,000 in profit at a 39% margin, 248,820. Now it's important to note that these figures, this loss of revenue, does not include any kind of service revenue, any kind of rental revenue. And one of the reasons I didn't include it is it's really hard to pull costs on that because costs vary so much on those. You know, one technician might make $15 an hour, another might make $35 an hour, and then rental, depending on the age of equipment, it varies quite a bit. So we excluded that, but just keep in mind that's a little bit of added revenue that can be lost when your system goes down. All total, when we add up the profit, you're looking at about $520,000 in total profit. And what I did is when I figured this up, I said, okay, what does it cost for me to be down a day? If my computer goes down a day, if there's a natural disaster and I'm down a few days, if I'm down an hour, what is it? So I just simply took 5 days a week times 52 weeks. Now I know some of you don't work 52 weeks out of the year. Some folks are in snow country and you don't stop year round. Some of you work 6 days, some of you work 7 days, some of you work 4 days. It's all over the board. So I just tried to come up with a baseline average when I figured this up, just so we can put some kind of number on downtime. So if we look at 5 days a week times 52 weeks, that's 260 days, and that comes up to a total of $2,000 a day if you figure an 8-hour day. And then if you break that down further by the hour, you'll see it's $250 an hour for every hour you're down. Now, again, your figure might be lower, your figure might be much higher. Just try to come up with some sort of average baseline so that we can actually look at total cost of ownership, total return on investment, as well as what does downtime cost us. Now, before you run out and talk to your computer guy, before you run out and talk to that IT person, you need to understand some IT people absolutely love cloud. They encourage it, they push it, they want you to go on cloud so that they can now, instead of maintaining a piece of equipment, they can now work on projects that actually push revenue to your business, like search engine optimization, website enhancement, so on and so forth. Now, that said, you do have some folks that they absolutely love building the latest, greatest, fastest computer server. They're proud of that thing, just like somebody that owns a 66 Camaro is proud of it. They love it. Now, those folks are going to be less likely to recommend cloud. In fact, they're going to probably be anti-cloud because that's their bread and butter. That's what they love to do. That's how they make their living. So keep that in mind before you go ask computer or IT folks that, you know, that does exist. Now, that said, there is a reason that the majority of the Fortune 500 companies have gone to cloud for their business. Companies like Google, Microsoft, Apple, they all operate on the cloud. Majority of the reason why is because it's a much more secure platform that they can control and protect their data. Two things before I turn over to back over to Taylor to wrap this up. Two things I hear most commonly from my cloud customers as I follow up with them. Number one, the changeover from on-premise server, actually having a server in your building, to go into the cloud server is actually a pretty painless situation. We sign you up for the cloud, and our guys do all the due diligence on the front end. They give you a launch date for cloud, and it has, for the most part, with everyone I've spoken with, been a very seamless process. The second thing I hear, and probably I hear this more than anything, Taylor already mentioned it prior, is most business owners, most managers, most folks that go to cloud, they absolutely love the freedom to access their business, their ideal data, from anywhere they have internet. That way, that mom who does the books, who has to come in twice a week and do the books, she's able to do it at home while watching the grandkids. That's one scenario I've dealt with. I had one company that said by going to the cloud and not having the updates and the backups to worry about, that they saved 4 hours a month that they could have more personal time. So there are a lot of reasons as to why people like the ability to access cloud from anywhere. But nonetheless, it's probably the one bit of feedback I hear the most. Now, speaking of feedback, I've got a quote from one of my customers, what they experienced with cloud. And Taylor, I'm just going to let you read that and kind of hand it back over to you, and we can wrap this thing up.
All right, well, thank you, Jay. So what is being shown here is a testimonial that we received from Josh at Sportomotive. He expressed to us that he likes the fact that Ideal provides the updates for him automatically. His speeds have improved drastically, and Ideal has been running a lot smoother for him, and it's all due to upgrading to Ideal Cloud. We really appreciate his feedback, and I honestly can't wait to hear how much you all love it as well. All right, so I know you're all probably wondering about the investment in Ideal Cloud. We would be happy to put a quote together for you. That's no problem at all. But before we do that, in appreciation to everyone taking the time to attend this webinar with us today, we are offering a 50% off webinar special if you sign up before December 31st. And just a reminder, especially if you were unaware, if you have not had a chance to sign up for our 2022 user conference, please do so before all of the spots are filled. Right now, we're at about a 90% capacity, so the spots are filling up rather quickly. But we do think it's really important for you to attend this event, because not only will it give you a chance to network with other dealers, but there will be live training sessions by our star trainers, and you'll be able to learn dealer management best practices from industry experts, including Bob Phibbs, who is known as the retail doctor. Also, every dollar spent on tickets for this event, we will give you the same dollar amount in credits for Ideal software users and modules. And this year, we kind of wanted to make it a little extra special for you guys by holding this event at the Hyatt Regency Beach Resort and Spa in Clearwater, Florida. So mark your calendars for this unforgettable event for November 1st through 3rd. And if you need the link to sign up, if you haven't gotten it or you misplaced it or anything like that, just please reach out to one of the account managers and we will gladly send that over to you. Okay, so to summarize what we just went over about Ideal Cloud, you are able to work from anywhere with an internet connection. You will get automated backups. Your data will be more secure. And last but certainly not least, with Ideal Cloud, you will spend more time managing your business, not maintaining, repairing, or replacing your server, which has been huge for the customers that have already taken advantage of upgrading to Ideal Cloud. And here we have listed the contact information with the direct lines and email addresses for all of the Ideal account managers. Jay Gaskins is the rep for the Northeast area, Michael Bell, who is the rep for the Southeast area, and myself, Taylor McMillan, and I have the Western region. If you're unsure which one of us handles your account, just please feel free to contact any of us and we will send you to the correct rep. So no worries there. I'm going to actually leave this slide up for the Q&A session, just so you have enough time to write down our information. But if you think of any questions that may not be answered today, or if you're honestly just ready to take the leap and save yourself some time and money, just please feel free to contact us directly and we will get you a proposal started and sent over as soon as possible. All right, so we're going to take this time to answer your questions. Let me see. So I do have one question here. Will cloud work if I have multiple locations? So the answer to that is yes, absolutely. And if you are a multi-location dealer, it's almost preferred, because if you have an on-premise server and it's in one of your main location, and say that location has like a lightning strikes your building, or that server just crashes, then you're down at all of your locations, not just your main location. And that's something that you absolutely do not have to deal with or even worry about when it comes to the cloud with us. All right, we got another question. Jay, if you want to take this one, you're more than welcome to. Does Ideal look the same on cloud, or will additional training be needed? Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, happy to. So when you upgrade to the cloud, if you're running Ideal today, everything works the same way, looks the same way. The only thing that's added to the cloud screen is there's a little button when updates are available. And if you have a smartphone, especially an iPhone, where you get automated updates from time to time, where they've got the latest, safeguards for protecting the system with malware or bug fixes or whatnot. Same thing goes for the cloud. You just click on that button when it's convenient and update it. So no special training required at all.
Okay, thank you, Jay. And another question, will I need to back up my data, or will Ideal do that for me? Okay, so that's a great question. So a lot of our dealers, they pay for the yearly online backup. So that is absolutely not necessary when you're on the cloud, because that is included. So we do daily backups at no additional cost. So that is included with the cloud. All right, Jay, I guess we could just go back and forth on these. How does this affect the printer network?
Is Brian on?
I don't know. I don't see him.
Okay. So Brian Christensen is our technical guru. Looks like I came from Craig. In general, there's usually no effect to the printer network, to my knowledge. However, the one thing that I have heard is, like, for credit card swipe terminals, if you have an older, outdated terminal, it's possible it may need to be upgraded, and that is if you integrate with Ideal. So if you're on Gravity Payments system that integrates with us, then it's possible it would need to be upgraded, but it just depends on how old they are. I hope that. And Craig, I can ask Brian and make sure that what I just told you is accurate, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate.
All right.
Any more questions?
I'm just giving a few more minutes just in case anybody has any more questions. All right. Well, and if any of you think of any questions that we may not have answered or anything like that, just feel free to reach out to us and we will get you the answer. Even if we don't, if it's more on the technical side or anything like that, if we don't have the answers personally, then we will find out the answers for you. That's no problem at all. All right, well, at this time, we will go ahead and conclude the Ideal Cloud webinar. On behalf of myself and everyone here at Ideal, we would like to express our gratitude for you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. We really appreciate it. And yeah, if you need anything, please feel free to contact us directly. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.